So the question for today, guys, is why? What's up, guys? Nurse Mike here, back again, the world heavyweight champion of nurses, with another episode of Bariatric Strong. Sorry. So today, I want to talk to you guys about the big question that everybody seems to ask us: why? And the reason we really need to ask ourselves, why? Why did we go through with bariatric surgery? The simple answer to that is because we were fat. And if you take offense at the word fat, there's a lot more stuff we got to talk about. But the fact is, we were fat, we were overweight, we were obese. But there's so much more to that because just being big is not necessarily a reason to go through bariatric surgery. You can be fat and try to lose weight. You can be big and try to lose weight and go through conventional methods, and some people are successful with that. The funny thing is, many of us, myself included, who've done the diet thing, who've done the weight loss thing, have been successful. I'm going to say this is probably most of us, but we've probably done every diet that's on the market, and any new diet that comes out, we've tried it. It started with Weight Watchers. That was the kind of king of everything. And I'll tell you, I did Weight Watchers. I did it a couple times. One time I did Weight Watchers, I lost 80 pounds. I've done Atkins. I lost about 50 pounds on Atkins. The problem that occurs for many of us, I think, and again, I speak for myself. If you guys agree with me, great. If not, your experience is your own. But I found that any time you did any sort of diet, and I'm very specific about diet as opposed to lifestyle change, anytime you did a diet, when you stopped that process, the weight came back. And the funny thing is, not only did the weight came back, but it came back with a vengeance. It came back even more. So I did Weight Watchers. I lost 80 pounds. I gained 100. I did Atkins. I lost 50 pounds. I gained 60. Every time I stopped doing anything, the weight came back. Now, the funny thing about that is the big kicks now are paleo and keto and that kind of shit. Pardon my French. I do curse from time to time, much less on this than in real life. But so all these fat diets. The funny thing is, and I work with a lot of people concerning weight loss and how to go about it, and I'm very much for lifestyle change. Excuse me. I'm very much for lifestyle change as opposed to the crash diet concept or the fad diet concept. And the reason being, it's funny because if you read, any of these diets, you do the diet, you cut out carbs, you make bulletproof coffee, which, if you don't know, is putting a stick of butter in a cup of coffee and putting it in a blender. How this even came about as an idea boggles the mind. It's part of keto. I think it's awful. Just for the record, I did try it once, and here's where the important thing comes in. I didn't read the directions or the instructions on how to do it, and I just took a stick of butter and put it in a cup of coffee and tried to drink it. There's something about chewing your coffee that just isn't terribly appetizing. You're actually supposed to put it in a blender and whip it up. Whoops. Who knew? But the problem is, when you read these books, and most people with the Atkins book and the paleo literature and the keto literature, they read the weight loss part. They read how to do weight loss. Keto is 75% fats in your diet. Atkins is cut out carbs to start. Paleo is just eat meat or whatever. Don't eat, dairy or grains or I don't know. So it tells you how to lose the weight. The problem is, nobody gets past chapter 2. You read how to lose the weight. How do I lose the weight? I want to know how to lose the weight. How do I lose the weight fast? And you do it, and you lose weight. And then you put the book down because you lost weight. And then you decide that you've been doing it for so long, you've been doing so well, I'm going to eat something else. I'm going to put carbs back in. I'm going to not eat as much fat. I'm going to eat something else. Nobody ever gets to chapter 17, where it lays out how to properly wean off the diet to slowly reintroduce those foods so that you don't gain the weight back. The few people I've seen who've done it properly have been able to maintain some modicum of weight loss. So, all that being said, the problem that I had and the problem that many of us have had is we can't keep that weight off. We've tried everything, and every time we stop dieting, every time we stop doing a change, the weight comes back even more. So we get approached with the thought of bariatric surgery. And for most people, this is not a simple choice. This is not an easy solution. This is something that we've thought about long and hard. For those that haven't, I recommend you stop doing what you're doing and go think about it some more. Go talk to some people who've had the surgery. Go visit some surgeons, and be prepared for what's to come. I see too many bariatric patients who gain the weight back because they had no idea of what was coming. Trust me when I say this. Go on any bariatric surgery message board. And I'm sorry for the lighting. It's terrible in here. I got this bright light behind me, and if I go over here. So the lighting's terrible. I apologize. I'm working on it. So anyway, they go into this, and I look on a message board, and I see things like, I'm 3 days post-op. Can I have jelly beans? I'm a week out, and I just ate a pizza, and I feel terrible. You can feel the aneurysm starting right here. You see the vein pulsing when I talk about this? It makes me want to smack the shit out of people. Like, you need to be prepared for this when you go in. And yes, they do the site consult. And it's funny because I've talked to a lot of people actually overseas in Europe who deal with the National Health Service, which is a little different than here in America in terms of getting approved for surgery. And here it's like a 3 or 8 month insurance waiting period. There you can wait 1.5 years, 2 years before they'll do surgery. But it's all the same in that there's some sort of psychological eval. Now, my psych eval was with a nurse practitioner. We talked for an hour, and she went, okay, you want to have surgery? Yes. Are you going to eat better? Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was that simple. I mean, it was, it wasn't really a deep psychological profile of me. But I have heard people, sorry, something in my eye, guys. I have heard people who have to do like a 20-page questionnaire. Look, the psych eval is crap. I don't care what you do. You can't get a full psychological picture of an individual over one visit. It just doesn't happen. That being said, you need to be psychologically ready for this. So, if you've honestly thought about it, you've honestly delved into yourself and realized that this is a complete lifestyle change, then you start meeting with surgeons and you start talking to them and trying to find out the process. Now, hopefully, if you're a smart person and not an absolute moron, you do a little research. And that research can be on the message boards, which I don't recommend, although it gives you an idea. Or it can be with surgeons and with websites and with bariatric websites and things like that, where you can actually get information about pre-op diets and post-op diets and maintenance and supplementation with vitamins and which is the better surgery, which surgery should I have. These are all things that you can find out online, and these are all questions that you should ask your doctor. The why is different for many people. The why for me was that I couldn't breathe, that I wanted to be active. And every time I treated, and the funny thing is, for me, I've always been involved in sports, team sports, individual sports. I've always done something. I mean, in high school, I played volleyball and football. I actually did gymnastics, which was not a very happy time in my life. I shouldn't do gymnastics. That was apparent real early on. But I wanted to be more active, and I wanted to be able to breathe when I got up from the couch to go to the fridge. Granted, I probably was getting up from the couch to go to the fridge way too many times in a day, but that's not the point. The point is I didn't want to be out of breath getting up. So I finally made a decision, and it all came the day after the Super Bowl, which, by the way, if you want to weigh yourself and feel better about yourself, doing it the day after going to a Super Bowl party is not the day to do it. It was my heaviest weight, 356. That next day, I locked it in and said, let's get a surgery date. But the why is individual to you. For whatever reason you're doing it is your reason. Whether it's, I want to play with my kids or my grandkids, or I want to be healthy for my husband, or I want to be healthy for myself, or I want to look banging in this new dress. I look awesome in my dresses. Later. So the why is individual to you. And as long as you are in a good headspace and you're not losing your shit about weight and weight loss and weight gain, you got to be in the right place. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up, ask them. I'll put them up here. If you want me to say who you are, that's great. If not, cool. If you like what I'm doing, hit the over there, right? I think it's like should be, if I'm pointing, should be right there. There should be like a like and subscribe button over here somewhere. I don't know. I'm new to this. This is only the second episode, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are getting some out of this. Figure out what your why is for this surgery. And if you're thinking about surgery, hit me up. I will tell you my experience, and I will tell you the experience of the people I know. Otherwise, you guys are all awesome. And as always, stay bariatric strong. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.